When the facts bend reality, this is beyond plausible.
New Zealand, an island nation isolated from the rest of the world by thousands of kilometers of vast ocean. The majestic landscapes here are shaped by immense natural forces. Mountains carved by fire and ice, rugged coastlines, and dense primeval forests. Over millions of years, these islands in neighboring Australia have become an extraordinary evolutionary laboratory. Strange inhabitants not found anywhere else on Earth have emerged here and thrived. The Kakapo parrot is one of these animals. Like all parrots, the Kakapo has a hooked beak. But the similarities end there. The Kakapo is the world's only flightless parrot. It is primarily nocturnal and leads a solitary life. This creature is described as the world's strangest parrot, with explosive calls echoing through the night. It seems the male kakapos are having a singing competition to attract mates. That sound has echoed through the forests for millions of years. But today, that sound is much scarcer. With fewer than 160 individuals remaining, the kakapo is one of the most endangered species in the world. In this video, let's explore how the beautiful kakapo bird can be saved from extinction, and why they only appear in the isolated land of New Zealand. At the edge of the Southern Ocean is one of New Zealand's most important wildlife sanctuaries. Covering just 14 square kilometers, Vanuatu or Codfish Island is one of the last strongholds for the kakapo. There are fewer than 200 individuals left, and more than half of them live on this island. Weighing up to 4 kilograms, the kakapo is nearly twice the size of a hen. It is also a giant bird compared to other parrots. But its size offers no protection against predators that arrived from afar. In the 19th century, European settlers brought rabbits to New Zealand. They quickly became pests with devastating destruction rates. Stoats were quickly introduced to control the rabbits. For the flightless, ground-dwelling kakapo, it was a disaster. Codfish Island is one of the few places where predatory stoats have been eradicated. The Kakapo recovery program is actively implemented by biologists and has shown positive results. Codfish Island is located at the southern tip of New Zealand. It directly faces the cold winds blowing from Antarctica. The characteristic weather here creates dense and lush green forests. The kakapo's green plumage is also a very effective camouflage. You could be just a few meters away and still not see them. It's hard to pinpoint the animal. Although a plump and flightless bird, the kakapo is extremely agile. And it's surprising how professionally this animal can climb trees. They skillfully move along branches and use their beak as an additional claw. The fruit of the rimu tree is one of the kakapo's favorite foods, but it grows quite high up. The animal doesn't mind this. It simply hangs upside down to reach the fruit and devours it greedily. In fact, it also finds safety in trees. With their small numbers, each kakapo on Codfish Island has its own name. And annually, they undergo health checks by biologists and have their tracking device batteries replaced. Possessing a clever appearance like other parrots, with forward-facing eyes, resembling a large owl. The kakapo also has another name, the owl parrot. As they evolved to become nocturnal, their eyes gradually moved to the front of their head to improve vision in low light conditions. Like owls, the kakapo has a special ring of feathers around each eye. Their facial discs act like radar, collecting sound waves and focusing them toward the bird's ears. A common trait they share with other parrots is intelligence. Each kakapo has its own distinct personality. Some are very friendly, even actively seeking out humans to interact with. But others are shy and often choose to hide. It seems Kakapo truly is a bird species with many interesting personalities. Unlike most flightless birds, Kakapo's wings still serve practical purposes. They are used to maintain balance when climbing trees. Living isolated on remote islands of New Zealand for millions of years, Kakapo have evolved to become a bird species with quite high longevity. Scientists haven't precisely determined how long Kakapo live, but according to some estimates, their average lifespan appears to be 60 years. A truly impressive number compared to other bird species. There are over 350 parrot species in the world, but Kakapo have followed a different evolutionary path. What evolutionary influences created this extraordinary creature? To understand the origin of this unique bird, we need to go back millions of years in time, when parrots first appeared. The homeland of Kakapo is New Zealand, isolated from its nearest neighbor Australia. With a distance of over 2,000 kilometers, Australia is a land unlike any other place in the world. It is vast, arid, and flat. Over 800 bird species live in Australia. A special group among them has thrived particularly well. Early European explorers called Australia the land of parrots. More than 50 parrot species originate from Australia, and all are different from the peculiar Kakapo. Australian parrot species share common characteristics typical of their relatives. With colorful plumage, active during daytime, often gathering in large and noisy flocks. Though different from Kakapo, all parrot species evolved from dinosaur ancestors. 95 million years ago, New Zealand and Australia were part of the eastern edge of the supercontinent Gondwana. This ancient continent was a humid tropical region, completely different from today's arid Australian land. However, fossils of Kakapo ancestors can still be found beneath Australia's dry red soil. Not all dinosaurs were large. A group of dinosaurs in Australia evolved to become small and covered with feathers. Today, we call these small dinosaurs birds. This is the fossil of a dinosaur species called pteropod. All bird species in the world today originate from feathered dinosaur ancestors. From fossils found in Australia, we know that birds have close connections with feathered dinosaurs. From a certain perspective, one could say dinosaurs still live today and all birds are feathered dinosaurs. Given this connection from the past, it's not an exaggeration to say Kakapo is a surviving feathered dinosaur species. Current DNA evidence shows that parrot species may have evolved about 60 million years ago in eastern Gondwana, the land that today forms modern Australia. If the original parrot species evolved in Australia, that could explain why this place has such species diversity. But why did New Zealand's Kakapo develop differently from continental parrots? Soon after birds evolved, New Zealand separated from eastern Australia. That was the beginning of a long journey of isolation for this land over millions of years. This giant evolutionary laboratory, home to many of the world. In the central North Island, active volcanoes gradually appear on the landscape. On the slopes of Mount Ruapehu, Rangatawa Forest is home to an elusive creature. This helps explain why Kakapo in New Zealand lost their ability to fly. As night falls, the birds sing their final songs, and other winged creatures take to the air. Bats are the only native mammals in New Zealand. It appears they arrived at this isolated island about 16 million years ago. Until humans appeared about 800 years ago, New Zealand had no ground predators like cats or weasels. This allowed the creatures here to evolve in unique ways. Flight is an energy-consuming activity. Short-tailed bats have evolved to forage on the ground under these circumstances. They hunt insects and worms in the leaf litter under the forest canopy. This is the only bat species in the world with such a unique foraging method. Bats once lived in New Zealand in numbers reaching millions. However, the arrival of humans has drastically reduced their population. Raunapala Forest in New Zealand is the primary habitat of the largest short-tailed bat population. They are tiny creatures, about the size of a mouse. Similar to the Kakapo. The existence of ground foraging bats in New Zealand is also threatened. Recently, scientists discovered something unusual in their mating behavior. The unusual behavior of short-tailed bats is called relic breeding. Males gather and hold prolonged singing competitions to attract females away from their nests. The winning male finds a suitable mate. Kakapo also rely on calls to attract mates. Similar to the bat's foraging habits, Kakapo mating behavior evolved in the absence of ground predators. Before starting their vocal displays, they create a network of trails leading to a bowl-shaped depression on the ground. A unique behavior not found in any other bird species. Males undergo changes during the breeding season. Their chest pouches become significantly larger. They can inflate this pouch and release air to produce distinctive sounds. This sound travels far, capable of spreading for kilometers. A male Kakapo can perform continuously for up to 8 hours each night over 3 months. New Zealand's bats and birds are examples showing how the absence of ground predators allowed many species to evolve in the forest. Along with Kakapo, many other birds, including the kiwi, New Zealand's national symbol, also evolved to be flightless. The large number of these ground-dwelling birds proves this is a very successful evolutionary strategy. But 800 years ago, disaster struck. Wildlife life in New Zealand took a desperate turn. For 80 million years, New Zealand's islands were isolated. Apart from bats, no mammals appeared here. This was a perfect refuge for birds of all shapes and sizes. Then calamity struck. A species called humans arrived, bringing rats, cats, dogs, pigs, and stoats. These invasive mammals had a devastating impact on the land's wildlife balance. Native animals were completely defenseless and were hunted indiscriminately. Since humans arrived, over 50 bird species have gone extinct. They included a giant bird, the tallest bird ever to exist, the moa. Today, New Zealand's ground-dwelling bird, the Kakapo, is also on the brink of extinction. At one time, they were so numerous that early settlers described them falling from trees like ripe apples during a bountiful season. By the 1990s, their numbers had dwindled to just 50 individuals. But alongside the losses, there are also stories of extraordinary survival. Tepeahanau, or the Makaizan mountain range, is home to another flightless bird. They defied extinction not once but twice. That bird is the takahe. Their fossils were discovered by 19th century explorers, but there were no reports of living takahe individuals. The species was thought to be extinct. However, in the 1840s, sailors found a living takahe and ate it. 3 more birds were subsequently discovered, after which no individuals were found. A prominent naturalist named Jeffrey Orbill refused to believe the takahe was extinct. In 1948, he ventured into the Sasoi Valley. In April 1948, Jeffrey Orbill's expedition set foot here. They explored around the lake shore and found some footprints in the sand. These footprints did not match any creature they had ever known. The footprints were too large for weka or kiwi birds. So he brought the collected specimens back to town and sent them to experts across the country. These people also could not determine which species those traces belonged to. This is quite convincing evidence that an unknown bird species is living in this valley. Jeffrey Orbill really wanted to return here once more, but he had to wait until the snow melted. So in November of the same year, he and his colleagues made a 5-hour trek up to the valley. Before reaching the lake shore, the expedition discovered some rather large footprints. This time, they actually saw the mysterious birds. And that was evidence that the takahe still existed, a feat created once again. After being discovered for the second time, the takahe population quickly declined to the brink of extinction. Humans made efforts to save this bird species. In the takahe species, adult individuals can reach weights of up to 3 kilograms. They evolved over millions of years before predatory mammals appeared in New Zealand. By 1982, the takahe population had decreased to only 118 individuals. But today there are over 300, and their numbers are increasing. The breeding behavior of takahe is crucial to the success of the recovery program. They are also monogamous animals that mate for life. The young birds will stay with their parents during the first year, which significantly improves their survival rate. On remote Cod Island, Kakapo still face a difficult survival battle. Once found throughout New Zealand's lands, Kakapo no longer exist on the mainland today. Only 3 small offshore islands without introduced predators provide a safe environment for their survival. The remaining number of Kakapo is very small. Their unique breeding behavior doesn't help much with the survival of these poor creatures. Kakapo often sit in tree hollows, making loud calls and waiting for females to be attracted by their calls. This breeding strategy yields much less certain results than the takahe. Males now have to compete to win over the few remaining females. These adorable, fluffy birds are facing an uncertain future.
Curious? Subscribe and step through the next anomaly.